Ellie begins to jot down notes about her day in her journal when she has finished cleaning the wound. This is another great reference to Part 2, in which Ellie regularly records her deepest thoughts in an old notebook that the player can flip through. It is the closest thing that Ellie has to an internal monologue throughout the entirety of the game, and it was unquestionably a more effective method of gaining insight into her mental process than the more expository language that was featured in the show. These brief views inside Ellie's thoughts gave the impression that they were written specifically for her, and we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to read them and possibly acquire a deeper comprehension of the terrible conquest that we were engaged in. In the meantime, the language in the show in which Ellie confesses her thoughts to another person seems to have been created for an audience that is assumed to be present. Undoubtedly, every single line of speech is composed with the viewer in mind, but concealing that fact is not the show's strong suit. By the time Joel arrives and inquires as to whether Ellie would be attending the dance tonight, it is abundantly evident that there is tension between the two of them, which neither of them is willing to address openly. In spite of her complaints, Joel does what he does best and insists on doing something for her. He does this by pointing out that the strings on her instrument need to be changed, and then by taking the guitar with him. The next scene that we see is the dance, which is one of the best scenes in the entirety of The Last of Us Part 2. It is a sequence that is so compelling in the game that I was extremely relieved to find that the authors largely left it alone here. Dina dancing to Crooked Still's Little Sadie, Ellie serving as a wallflower on the sidelines, and then the one who is more outgoing rushing to the friend who is more introverted and bringing her onto the dance floor. One of my favorite parts of the series is still the conversation that takes place between the two of them while the song Ecstasy by Crooked Still is playing in the background. Every single phrase has been well planned out, and it illustrates Ellie's nervousness as well as Dinah's flirty confidence. It is absolutely electrifying to watch these two sensations clash in a kiss. God, what a wonderful fucking sequence. Right down to the point when Seth, Robert John Burke, the local bigot, interrupts to fling a slur onto the dance floor in front of hundreds of people. Then, however, Ally of the Year Joel shows up to give him a good smack on the behind. As a result of Ellie's outburst and her declaration that she does not require Joel's assistance, Joel walks away with his tail between his legs. Despite the fact that Ellie is feeling sorrow, it is obvious that she is embarrassed by the scene that Seth and Joel just created. On her way back to her house, she notices Joel sitting on his back porch, playing the guitar with the strings untied. There is a brief moment of eye contact between them before Ellie walks by him without pausing. Not only was I taken aback when I saw Joel sitting on the porch in the first episode, but I was also taken aback when I saw Ellie strolling past him without uttering a single word. Game fans are aware that the sequence unfolds in a slightly different manner. When I saw this deviation in future days, I was more intrigued by it than anything else in the episode because I wondered how HBO's adaptation would make up for not including it. The conversation that Joel and Ellie have on that porch is foundational to the story of The Last of Us Part 2, so when I saw it, I was more likely to be intrigued by it than by anything else in the episode. I think that is an issue that will be addressed in a subsequent episode. For the time being, we bring future days to a close with the residents of Jackson being in danger, both from within the town and from outside of it. As the cordyceps fungus continues to spread via the pipes, Abby and Owen are shown standing just beyond the town's geographical boundaries. It would appear that this peaceful haven in a picturesque tiny town is on the verge of becoming a battlefield.